Hello, this is Billy Core from the Carolina Circle Mall Wiki. Today is Saturday, January the 24th of 2015, and once again we have the good old Toshiba Satellite 2505 CDS with us today. This is my family's very first laptop. We got this new in 1999, October, maybe September of 1999. And I think it was actually a new old stock model from 1998 because it only has a Pentium MMX and it originally had Windows 98 instead of it originally had Windows 98 First Edition, which I'm now running Second Edition on it. So yes, this is running Windows 98. But the reason I'm making this video is that, as you can tell, possibly from looking at this screen, move the cursor a little bit. Notice that ghosting there of the cursor? This Toshiba is one of the typical laptops you could have gotten in the 1990s that included a passive matrix display. Basically, a passive matrix display was a cheaper alternative to an active matrix display, which is what you would commonly find on a LCD screen nowadays. Which it was around then, but it wasn't as common because it was a little bit more expensive. So this was more cost effective, which I think the technology is on a passive matrix display. The transistors for the LCD screen are only around the edge of the screen, which is why it's a lot more washed out and ghosty looking than a active matrix screen, which this does pose a few issues. Now keep in mind, back in the 90s, laptops really weren't intended to be high-class gaming machines like they are today. They were more intended for just productivity and business. Although I believe this particular laptop here was intended for the home market, but of course it still has a passive matrix display. Now if this were a 2505 CDT, this would be a active matrix display, but this, since it's a CDS, it's a passive matrix display. I do believe that the 2505 CDT does exist. It's listed on Toshiba's support site, but I've never seen one in person or even seen pictures of one, so I guess they exist. But anyway, but the problem that most people have with these passive matrix displays is gaming. Like anything fast-paced, like a platformer or a shoot-'em-up, where everything's constantly moving. Everything gets blurred out and it ghosts like crazy, and you really can't see what you're doing, causing an immediate loss of your game. So that's why nowadays when people get an old laptop to play old computer games on, they usually shun these passive matrix displays, which a lot of times I'm guilty of that myself. But the purpose of this video is I'm going to show you a few things that you can still run pretty well on a passive matrix display. Some stuff that you can do that's productive and fun. So this video is pretty much intended to show that if you come across one of these old laptops that happens to have a passive matrix display, don't turn it down. You can still find some cool stuff to do with it. It's not a total loss. So I guess the first obvious thing we should do is to show something that the kind of game that you do not want to play on a passive matrix display. Let's go into the hard drive here. Yeah, I could use a tripod, but I really don't feel like it today. So, and plus it's on its last legs. No pun intended. Oop. Yeah, this mouse is a little junkish. Alright, we're going to load up one of my old favorites, Skyroad's Christmas Special, which is very, very, very fast-paced. Okay, no sound effects, but oh well, it's not like we're going to be playing a whole lot of this anyway. This laptop does actually have good Yamaha OPL3 FM synthesis in it, so this is a great little machine to play MIDI back on. MIDI back. That's is anything like Nickelback? Alright, as you can see here, I'm getting kind of dizzy, as you can probably imagine. Because look at all the blur and the ghosting. That's because these displays are not intended to work with these style of games. Do one more. I'm surprised I got through that in one piece. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend playing Skyroad's Christmas Special or anything like this for long periods of time on a passive matrix display. By the way, this is my favorite song in the game, so yeah. But anyway, that's just what you do not want to do with one of these displays. Now that we got that out of the way, let's see what you can do with a passive matrix display. The first obvious thing you can do is word processing. That's pretty much any kind of computer made in the past 35 years or so is capable of doing this. So let's open up Microsoft Word for Office 97. It looks like you're trying to type a character. Would you like some help? Little joke I learned from my good friend Elmo3, which, by the way, Jay and Luke will not be in this video. Jay's off drinking tea, and Luke's off having one job, so... Yeah, because... Actually, this is what these passive matrix displays are really enhanced for. Because, like I said, these laptops back in the day were mostly intended for productivity. And this is what Microsoft Word does. It lets you be productive. So let's just see, that's no trouble at all. In fact, I still think that a version of Microsoft Word like 97 is still a great word processor even to this day. It's really stood the test of time. Yeah. But yeah, that's very, very possible to do. You know, this is an LCD screen, Clippy. That noise doesn't really make sense. But anyway, now to show off some games that you can simply play on a display like this. I'm not sure how this will come out, though. Let's try Tetris from the Microsoft Best of Entertainment pack. It isn't too bad. I mean, yeah, it does move, but it's not moving all that fast, so... Probably not the best thing to be playing this on, but it's playable. Very much so. Alright. Now, one thing I do consider very, very passive matrix friendly are old point-and-click adventure games, which happen to be my favorite. So let's try out one of them now. Actually, first thing, let's turn down the color depth, because this game works better at 256 color mode. Okay, things a little washed out, but This is just a temporary thing. Alright, got one of my old-time favorites, Fatty Bear's Birthday Surprise. Go ahead and pop it in the drive here. This drive probably could use a little bit of cleaning. By the way, this computer's running off of a CF card. In case you didn't know that, which you probably did not if I hadn't told you. Okay, let's go ahead and fire up. It's probably going to do the yep, it's going to do the CD-ROM drive speed test, because I actually reformatted this laptop last night. So everything's new and fresh on here. And it's not taking too long to do this. You see, when it's stationary, it looks pretty good on this display. Yeah, it's going just fine on here.
Good night, Kayla.
Good night, Dad.
So you don't need a fancy schmancy active matrix display for stuff like this. As long as there's not a ton of motion, which usually these point and click games do not have.
I love you, Fatty Bear.
Again, it's
There's a lot of work
active matrix is still better,
I want to make her a big, beautiful
but if you have to
oh, well,
go
she'll
with
never be
passive
surprised.
something like
I
this,
better get
it's not too
busy,
bad.
too. I've got a lot of decorating to do. I'm even going to make Kayla a happy
Shut up,
birthday.
you.
Fatty Bear?
Shut up, you too. We'll go out the door. We'll move Fatty Bear around. There's a little bit of ghosting there, but it's really, but it's not, doesn't make it unplayable at all. Find a good song here. Yes, I know I'm overly picky when it comes to computer game music. I seriously do have a problem. As I've said before about this game, this is just a good game to fire up in the middle of the night when you can't sleep. Although, it's only 5:30 in the afternoon right now. There we go. Obviously, we're not going to go through the whole game. I just want to show enough of it to prove that this is indeed possible to play on one of these screens, which, by the way, has contrast control. Make it a little bit brighter there.
This looks like the place to bake Kayla's birthday cake.
Hi, Fatty Bear. I'm here to help with the cake.
Thank you, Matilda Rabbit.
And, yeah, that's pretty much it. Go back to 24-bit color. This is an 800 by 600 display, but unfortunately, unlike a lot of laptops, this cannot do panel stretch, which is why Fatty Bear was not filling up the whole screen. I guess he went on a diet. But seriously, though, that's a problem I've noticed on a lot of 90s Toshiba laptops. They don't want a panels fit. Oh well, it's not that bad. Okay. One more thing I want to show that you can do with a passive matrix screen. Believe it or not, there are some DOS games that you can play. And one of them being this incredibly legit and legal copy of Knowledge Adventures 3D Body Adventure for MS-DOS, popular on the Packard Bell 1994-1995 software pack, which, speaking of that, is what the bundle is on my Legend 20 CD over there, which, if my calculations are correct, we should be doing the repairs to it that I mentioned the other day this Monday. I got the CF card adapter today, but I'm still waiting on the CMOS battery, which should arrive Monday, so we'll hopefully be doing all that Monday. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, back to this. Actually, you know what? Instead of just booting into MS-DOS mode from Windows, why don't we just reboot and boot straight into DOS from the F8 commands. So here I don't want to put the camera down or anything, so I'm just gonna pause the video while I do so. Okay. I was trying to boot from that non-bootable CD, but anyway, let's go down here to command prompt only. The reason I'm doing this is so I can get a little bit more DOS memory out of here. It's kind of hard to do on this laptop. It's very limited when it comes to that. So let's change to the 3D body directory. Body is not spelled with a U. Like I said, the CD-ROM probably could use a little bit of cleaning. I need to find one of those cleaning kits sometime. Love the music in this game. It's a shame I missed out on this when I was a kid, but my 822 there had the 95-96 software pack instead of the 94-95 one. But I know a lot of people that had this software pack, and it does seem pretty cool. That's one of the reasons I got that 20 CD back there. Okay, let's skip through these credits. It's highly MIDI oriented for music. Let's go into the main part of the game, the 3D body viewing screen.
Prepare for body imaging and exploration.
Supposedly, non-OEM versions of this game would come with 3D glasses, so this really was a 3D game. Not sure how well it worked, and I seriously doubt that it works at all on a screen like this. In fact, it might not even work on an active matrix, but as you can see, everything is very stationary in this game, so it's very passive matrix friendly. You can see you can turn the body around here. There's a lot of things you can click upon.
Click directly on the body to begin exploring. To move the body to a new position, click on the rotate body icon. Use the arrow keys or move the mouse to rotate the body. Click the mouse or hit any key to get a cursor.
By the way, folks, before we go through this, I hope you're not eating anything while watching this. Okay, it's a slow response time, but I think that's because the CD-ROM is just worn out. Now we'll look at the pelvis.
The pelvis.
And you can turn the image around. And again, works very well on this kind of laptop.
The pelvis serves to...
The pelvis serves to what? Don't leave me in suspense. Come on, CD-ROM. Oh, that is not a good sign there. We got video glitching. Whoa. Yeah, that's not a good sign of health. let me reboot here. I think it's just having trouble with the CD-ROM here. So I'll be right back. Okay, I did a hard reset, so hopefully it doesn't crash on me again. But I think this time we'll go down and play the Body Recall game.
Let's play Body Recall.
This is yet another stereotypical
Click on one of the 12 tiles to see what lies underneath it. Remember what you see. Concentration is the key. The object of the game is to match each picture with its name or with its function.
seems like just about every 90s era computer game had one of these memory match games built in. Okay, I believe that's the heart. We gotta find the word heart. No, that's brain. No, that's liver. No, that's stomach. No, that's... Oh, we can just do this here. Oh!
Heart.
And you can spin it around here like a record, baby. Right round, right round. Okay.
Brain.
There's the brain. I wonder where Pinky is. Yeah, I believe I saw the stomach a while ago. The word, that is.
Stomach.
I like the music in this game, by the way. I say that about a lot of games, don't I? Okay, that's the liver.
Liver.
Lungs. No, that's kidney.
Kidneys. Lungs.
And we're a wiener. I mean, winner.
Great job.
Enough of that. Let's head on back into Windows. We'll do more of that game once I get the Legend 20 CD back in working order, which will hopefully be Monday. So, yeah, I'll pause the video while I go back into Windows. Alright, we're back in Windows, and that pretty much concludes this video. As you can see, passive matrix displays, I think, get a little bit of a unnecessary bad reputation. I mean, sure, there's certain kinds of things you do not want to do on here, like play Skyroad's Christmas Special or anything with fast motion in it that's very constant. But if you want to play something like an old Humongous Entertainment game, or any kind of game that's just a point-and-click game with little to no motion in it, well, of course, every game has motion, but a game that doesn't have constant, non-stop motion, don't let a passive matrix display make you gun-shy of these laptops. They really can do a lot more than you can imagine. So, yeah, that's just my little editorial video about passive matrix displays. So, for now, this is Billy Core, signing off.